Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so figured I'd go down to the local Target, even though I haven't been down there in months, almost a month and a half, I feel like. But I had several good reasons for wanting to do that. One, I got a 60-minute video that is taking unbelievable amount of time to upload, so it's only giving me 34 minutes to talk here. And got the dunk contest, got my family's Bible study and all that coming up in about 3.5 hours. So if I go all the way to Hollywood, I could risk not necessarily having myself be on schedule. But yeah, man, it's this YouTube slowdown thing is real, man. That thing is real. For those who wonder if they want to silence you on here or if they want to suppress you from being able to monetize and all that, you may see videos where people talk about stuff like that. I'm going through that right now. I'm going through that. YouTube is consciously slowing down my uploads significantly. I got an upload that I did yesterday. I uploaded it as soon as it was done. When I woke up this morning at 8:30 this morning, it was at 13% uploaded. I was like 7:45. But what I told you guys is that they only slow down my upload significantly between the hours of 10 a.m. and midnight. So since it was 7:30, I deleted the upload and then re-uploaded again. And for about 2 hours, it uploaded at regular speed. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, of course, it slowed down once again. So I just want to let everybody know that, yeah, they're trying to suppress me. They do not like the fact that I've been talking about Gaza and all of this other stuff. It's like everybody else who tries to bring light to the evil that this country is doing and engaging in with Israel. They will silence you and act like you're the bad guy. And so that's what is happening to BDF 44 right now. They're trying to kill my channel by trying to deter me from uploading. And so I continue to push forward. You don't see as many of my videos as often because that is why. So I did an hour video yesterday walking down the street, and it's at 50% right now. I don't expect that it will probably upload anytime soon. So you won't be seeing any real NBA videos from me or anything like that for that reason. It's because that video is uploading. So yeah, I just wanted to give people updated what's going on, man. And I encourage everybody to watch that video too, because obviously they don't want you to see it. And they don't want you to see any of these therapy sessions that I've been talking about in regards to Gaza and all these different things. They don't want to bring light to that, because if they have to bring light to that, then they have to accept the fact that half of them are complicit in crimes, crimes that literally everybody is watching them commit, but they, because they control the laws, don't have to necessarily throw themselves in jail, give themselves the chair. And so that's really what it's about. If we start holding them accountable in a way that uproars, then eventually it's going to put pressure on those who put people away to put them away. And obviously that's not something they're going to allow to happen if they can help it. So people like me need to be quiet. And that's really what it comes down to. But, you know, I look around and I say, well, whatever. I prayed to God this morning, as I always do. He woke me up. I was frustrated with some things in my own personal mind. You know, inner demons trying to attack me from the inside out. And, you know, the Lord just gave me the strength to just ignore all of that and just get up and continue my routine, man. Doing my exercise, you know, everything that I normally do. I've been frustrated, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, that's the point. You attack the devil, as we've said many times. When you attack the devil, he's going to attack back, and he's going to use anything he can to do so. So what you got to do is go to God and ask him for the tools and the strength to thwart off those attacks, because that's really part of the plan to begin with, is for you to do what it is that comes naturally to you, and then when static comes your way, go to God and to get back at it. That's just part of the process of living in faith. So that's what I'm telling everybody. Don't be frustrated by what happens in your life. Just go to God. That's part of it. You know, don't think that you can throw rocks at the devil and he won't throw a boulder back at you. But, you know, at the same time, it is meant for you to throw those rocks if it is indeed in your heart to throw those rocks. And that's what I'm doing, using my voice to point out everything that I'm seeing. And as a result, I find myself struggling with stuff that I wasn't struggling with before doing so. And so that's just how it goes. But I feel pretty confident that I have a recipe for success in regards to doing so. Given what I've been through these last 6 months, the Lord has shown me that he has my back, my front, my side, and my other side, you know, that kind of thing. So you just gotta to choose to turn to him rather than what you would otherwise turn to when you didn't have that faith, when you didn't believe as strongly as you do, and that's where I'm at. It's like I don't have to fall victim to some of the mistakes that I made or some of the choices that I made when I didn't have a stronger faith anymore. Back then, rather. Now that faith is in place, you just do what you got to do. And then, as I said, turn to him for the way forward. And so that's what I'm doing, man. You get to a point where you know that God is on your side, and you also know that what you're doing is righteous. And as my mother told me, you stand up for what you believe in. You don't let no people or no person thwart you from standing up for what you believe is right, or for what you know is right. And let the chips fall where they may. You meditate first, meditate afterward too, but make damn sure that you stand. And that's what I'm doing, you know what I mean? In many ways. I did the same thing with being an ape, holding my shares for as long as I was able to. And it's the same thing I'm doing here in regards to standing against genocide and wherever it may be. I don't find myself there, so I can't say I'm suffering those ills, but just the same, I feel an urgency as a grown person to use my voice and the platform that I have with the people that follow me to at the very least, attempt to tell people what it is that I see. And if those who control that platform are in support of the evil that's being done, then they have the ability to thwart those efforts. But that does not necessarily mean that my efforts are in vain. It just means that the Lord has a different plan for what it is that I'm doing than what it is that I would otherwise think would be a smooth sailing process forward. So praise the Lord. That's what I'm here to tell y'all, man. Praise the Lord. Free Palestine, free anybody who's in that space, in any walk of life they may be in, whether I'm aware of it or not. If I were to be aware of it, I would use my platform, and I just so happen to be aware of what's going on in Gaza, Sudan, and various circumstances in Africa furthermore. So that's what it is, man. I was looking on my app this morning and just seeing so much shallow stuff that I think is meant to make people question whether or not they deserve to be with someone else. One post was of this lady with a man. She was basically at Sugar Shack. Shake Shack, I think is the name of that place. I think it was Shake Shack. That's the name of the burger joint. And she had turned on her camera to use her voice to bring shame to him for taking her there. Of all the different things that we can talk about as a community, she was black. He was black. She turned on her camera to show the world how quote unquote cheap he was for taking her there. Now granted, if he makes a lot of money, she said he's spending hundreds of dollars at the club and takes her for a $50 meal, she don't appreciate that. I mean, I can't speak to where his priorities are in regards to what he has, but to shame anybody who takes their loved one to Shake Shack. Not everybody has the money to take you to the bigger, shinier restaurants, you know what I mean? But that don't mean they don't care about you, don't want to do for you, or don't want to see about you in a positive way, want to at least make sure you're fed during the daytime. And so to shame people in that way, to use our voice to shame people in that way is it's devilish. Especially when I scroll even further and then see a child with a plate in Gaza, or a bowl rather, with beans in it, and he has to try to sip it before he gets to his tent because he doesn't want it to spill, because that's how precious it is. Like, when you see that type of thing going on, you understand that poverty is not something to take light. And just because a person don't have the money to take you to where a rapper or a basketball player want to take you doesn't mean that you shouldn't be appreciative of the fact that you have somewhere to sit down and eat. And to see those two posts more or less a minute apart from one another just helped me understand just how warped and how shallow this country is, and how detached we are from how we should be really moving in this world as it pertains to being thankful and using our voice to try to bring light to what it is that is force-fed poverty is what's going on in many places, including this very own country, where people who have a lot want the middle class and those of us who aspire for a lot to think the way this sister was thinking, instead of having us realize what's going on over there and trying our very best to bring light to what it is that they're doing to all of us in that way. It's devilish, it's demonic, and at some point in time we need to start seeing it for what it is. And then I saw another post. A post with this lady sitting down with these gentlemen, and she was essentially speaking to the fact that men my age, who might be close to 40, or men of all ages really, don't want a woman over 30 because she's run through, because she don't necessarily have the softness that comes with having not gone through certain things with men and all of this different stuff, that ultimately speaks to her being no longer desirable in the eyes of a man, but more so a young woman who's in her early 20s or even late teens, which is speaking to a whole nother type of evil, if you ask me, that might be more appealing to us because she still has that wonder in her eye for the possibility of things being wonderful. Just, you know what I mean, as opposed to a woman who's been through a lot, who's gone through a lot, who's had a lot of partners, who isn't going to be, impressed by a whole lot. And it just spoke to the idea that a woman who's 30 or older is not going to be desired by a man like myself. So it's like, I sit there and I look and I say, well, how's that supposed to make a woman who's over 30 feel, who wants to have a family, who wants to be with a man, who may have a man in her life who wants to be with her, but because she's paying attention to all these different things that I've been watching over the last 3 minutes, you know what I mean, will make her feel like, you know what, there's no use in me believing in love. There's no use in me being a better human being. There's no use in me paying attention to the person who may be interested in me, because at the end of the day, all of my questions are answered in this here post. And it's like, that's devilish. Sister, it is what it is. It meant to make you feel worse about yourself, worse about the possibilities of things going one way or another, and more so interested in believing what it is that's being told about you, for whom it's being told by people who don't know you, who've never met you, who've never been in your shoes, who are not from where you're from. You know what I mean? But they're telling you some blanketed understanding of what it is that you are, and you're supposed to, I guess, walk away from that and believe that. Devilish. You know what I mean? And I saw another post, another more shallow post, about how is this woman essentially getting on another woman about the fact that her man had provided so much in her life, and that the only reason why she has those things is because that man provided it in money. And then the retort was even more shallow energy to say, well, no, yes, this is why I have it, and you don't have it. Maybe you should tell your man to work harder, as if the money that her man, the woman who's essentially being challenged for being shallow, is capable of being purchased, being provided to her by another woman who's pointing this out. It's just a bunch of jealousy, negativity, and ultimately lays it upon the man to do more than what he may be able to be able to provide, so that she can live up, so that his wife can live up to the standards provided by the woman who's otherwise in the post being challenged by his wife, because her man is in a position to provide for her in such a way. It's just, at what point in time do we stop letting money determine how we feel about one another, and then furthermore stop letting those who control money tell us how much we should care about money and how it should control our lives? Yes, money is something that can give you the ability to help take care of things in your life, that maybe provide a softer life for your wife. But that doesn't mean that every man has a path to that type of money. You can work as hard as you want to work. All you're going to do is run yourself into the ground. A lot of having money is about being smart with it. Taking her to Shake Shack today so you can take her to that other place that's much more expensive tomorrow. And if you're in a certain spot in your life, it don't mean that you won't get there. It just means that if you make the wrong decisions now, you will not get there. Does it speak to that? Does it speak to the fact that there are billionaires out there that walk around in $50 shoes? Does it speak to that? No. Why? Because it's not intent for you to know that. It's meant for you to think you're supposed to be able to skip from 0 to 100 financially, and spend all of the money that you get that would be enough to pay for that in one flourish, so that you stay broke. That's the evil in the circumstance. They want you to stay broke. They're not teaching you how to manage money. They're teaching you how to spend it. They're teaching you how to be guilt-tripped into spending it. They're teaching you how to be around people who will only be around you if you're managing money improperly. That's the reality of it. It's an agenda meant to keep people of color who don't have the know of how to manage their money, who don't know of how to invest their money. In some cases, who will invest their money in the wrong things. If they do invest, purposefully by these same people who will tell them to invest in the wrong things. You understand what I'm saying? This is how you stay broke. This is how they force feed poverty onto you so that your wealth that you get that's meant to be passed on to your generations die in your hands. It die with you. You get rich, you get broke before you go. So you don't pass it on to your kids, so you don't become competition for those who are in position to push this all on you. Because at the beginning of all of that goes on is the understanding that a lot of the people who have so much have had it for longer than their lifetime, and they're just trying to figure out how they can keep it. They can't have these creatives, they can't have these smart people, they can't have none of y'all meeting them in their wealth gap, because then they will be exposed for being individuals who never earned their money, just haven't inherited in a lot of cases, for which their fathers and their forefathers probably stole it from others or had it given to them by people who took it from us and our works. People of color who they stole it from, people from different lands, Africa and stuff like that, from which they stole that money from the minerals in those places. That is who is investing in the ideas that we should be shallow in nature. It's individuals who never had anything fairly gained by their hard work, but more so just their hard work in making it so that others will feel like they can't get it as they continue to hoard it. And any little bit of money that you make, they want to make damn sure you're not in a position to make too much of it. So they're going to tell you had better spend a lot of it in one flurry. And they're going to put it in the minds of the people you're trying to attract to make them feel like they had better spend it all in one flurry, or force you to by way of the culture that they put out there for us to believe in. I'm telling you, man, it's all demonic. And so that's what I'm telling all of y'all. Save your money, black people. You should be happy that man's going to Shake Shack. Why? Because that means he's not spending all that money in one flurry on you and probably putting it somewhere where he can make more of it. You want him to have the best of everything? How's he supposed to get that if not to break the rules that are otherwise be putting him in prison for the rest of his life? You ain't going to be nowhere near that man for too long. He'll ball out for 2 years, spend 20 years in jail trying to keep up with the standards you've allowed others to set into you by way of the culture that they had in place that was meant to destroy both of y'all. And you don't know it because you're too busy chasing what it is they told you to chase instead of looking at who it is that's telling you to chase it and holding them accountable for instilling in you and everybody else around you some sense of shallowness, for which the only way you're going to shake your way out of is to think for yourself, for what you're incapable of, it seems. And so that's what I'm telling everybody, man. We got to grow up. Grow the hell up. The wealth gap is real. Fathom it and wonder why that is. It's because people keep making bad decisions when they get it. As soon as they get it, the first thing they want to do is find somebody too shallow of a mind to teach them how to keep it or to encourage them to keep it. Spend it all on me right now. Only for you, the well to run dry, and then they want to go to somebody else that's going to do the same thing or find somebody wealthier than you to try to hold you up to a standard for which you can never meet unless you do the wrong things. In a lot of cases. And the wealthy need to understand, you are not being exalted because you are special. You're being exalted because they're trying to keep it out of other people's hands. If you inherited a bunch of money and you get to floss, know that they are trying, by way of the culture that is flossing, you are in a position to encourage others to live up to standards that they cannot reach. Know that they have effectively oppressed a lot of people and suppressed a lot of people from even getting that type of money. While you sitting up here flossing and going off and exalting yourself thinking you special, believe me, the same people that are telling us this would love to take that from you. They don't want you to have it no more than they want me to have it, especially if you're of color. Save your money. Stop letting these people's cultures of intent, oppressive devilishness keep you from being able to pass on to your kids all that they are supposed to be receiving for having a rich daddy or a rich father or a rich mother. If you were in this position to make money in this capitalistic devilish place, know that you're supposed to put it somewhere that isn't going to be giving it back to the oppressors. That is your job. Above all else, get it, stash it, invest it, pass it. That is your job. Not to give it back to these idiots and their various different companies that rappers be rapping about. Oh, this, that. Them fools, they taking their generational wealth back. That's all they're doing. They taking it back with stuff that they tell you need. They invest in these rappers. They invest in these athletes in these companies, with these companies, so that you, not athlete, not rapper, will purchase it with the little bit of money that you ultimately make. Stuff that's supposed to go into savings funds, stuff that's supposed to go into your children's funds, stuff that's supposed to be educating your neighborhood. Nah, they gonna take it back. And Balenciaga and all different other types of entities such as that, they're taking that generational wealth back. You never actually have it because they know they control your habits. Tell you something's cool, you're gonna spend all this money on it. And the first thing that happens when you don't have it, is you turning around saying, I need to get it again. I lost it, I need to get it again. And what you gonna do to get it again? You gotta get it fast. You can't take your time getting it, right? So you're gonna do something that breaks the law. You're gonna do something that breaks the process of you actually getting it. Let me go spend it at this hotel. Let me go spend it at that place. Let me go spend it on a devilish entity that only wants to see you part with that money to exalt herself because she's been told by other people, other devilish entities, that that's what she should want. Breaking up families. Work harder. No, that means work more illegally so you can get money quicker so that you can impress her. And when it dry up, she gonna find somebody else to do the same, put the same damn guilt trip on, because that guilt trip was placed upon her and her mama and her grandmama. Shallow nature that's meant to keep our people from having anything, keeping anything, sharing anything. You gotta stop letting devils tell you how to live, having you chasing people that don't give a damn about you, starting families with people that ain't supposed to be meant to be domesticated in any way, people that you couldn't get yourself out of any situation with, because the first thing something go wrong, they gonna leave. Shallow individuals don't want nothing but money. That's it. You find yourself with those type of entities the way that this culture wants you to, the way that they trying to guilt trip you into finding somebody like this and becoming somebody like this. Believe me, you ain't gonna be next to anybody worth a damn. Trust me. You prop these people up, put this garbage in their minds, and send them out to take the wealth back that ultimately you earn off your own back. Ultimately, you earn off your company's success. And you continue to pass this relay forward so other kids can engage in this mess. I'm telling you, it is not for your betterment. The only thing it's meant to do is get you to know no space where you have generational wealth, no space where you're able to feel good about yourself, no space for which good energy can be found within you, unless you have a certain amount of money for which they control. You can look at the stock market. We've been talking about it for years. They control that. They control the stock market. A lot of where the money comes from, they control the housing market. A lot of where the money is, it's free flowing into their pockets and away from yours. They control where the education goes. They control a lot of this. And you ain't getting no closer to it by spending all your money in one flurry on different companies that they own. Different companies that they are in control of. You gotta look at it that way. While they got some beautiful art piece of some car or some clothing or some bullshit that they invested in the coolness of by putting it in your music, putting it on these artists, just like I've already said, putting it on these athletes. So now you think it's cool, so you need to hurry up and spend your money on it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You need to question whether or not you can create something better yourself. You need to question whether or not that money is actually going anywhere good when you spend it on those companies. And this is stuff they want to suppress. Why? Because they send that money back to where? Places like Israel, where they do all the worst mess. They fund off of your back more stuff that destroys your people. That's the reality if you black. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.